Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today in Junior League of Atlanta's Kitchen Fun with Kids cooking series. I have a very good treat for you guys. It is very quick, very easy, and not only can you enjoy it, but your friends, family, and children can enjoy it too. We actually have two recipes that we're going to be concocting today, all with apples. And so I have my green apples, I have my red apples, and between these both, we're going to do some really tasty, yummy treats. Okay, so for our first recipe, we are going to be making apple nachos. Now, you have probably seen this on Pinterest, or you have probably heard of apple nachos, but we're going to put our own twist on it. And so you see all of the ingredients here. We're going to break these down really quickly. Most of them you already have in your pantry, and if not, a quick run to the dollar store or a convenience store or bodega, you'll be able to find these, okay? So we're going to start from the right. I'm going to go all the way to the left, and we're going to get started. So this is going to be, we're going to get a little close here so you can see it. This is our fruit spread. We're going to use that as a topping. You can either microwave it or leave it as is. I'm going to microwave it. You can also have the option of strawberry or blueberry frozen yogurt pieces if you are a yogurt person like myself. We also have good old cinnamon. Now, what kind of sugary treat does not have cinnamon? And so we're going to be utilizing that in an interesting way today. And as a twist, if you are not comfortable with cutting your own apples, or if you want to make this a little bit more kid-friendly, I purchased some apple cinnamon baked puffs just to give it a little bit of a twist on our traditional apple nachos. And we also have cashews, half in pieces. We have a bit of granola. We have caramel sauce. You could also use peanut butter caramel or peanut butter chocolate, whichever one. We have chocolate frosting, just in case you have frosting at home, but not Hershey syrup. That'll also work well. Just make sure that you put it in the microwave just to kind of liquefy it just a little bit. And then we have cranberries. Again, we're going to be kind of using this as a topping. And all of these here can be mixed and matched. The good part about both of these recipes is once you learn how to do them, you can remix them and turn them into whatever your heart's desire. And then of course we have our big boys. We have our bananas, our red apples, and our green apples. So apple nachos is exactly what it is. It is regular nachos, but instead of the tortilla chips, you're actually going to be utilizing apple slices. And so what we're going to do here is you can take your Granny Smith apple, make sure, because usually you have the sticker on there, you remove the sticker first and you wash it, and then you can just quickly twist this off. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to do, and discard it. And then you can use your sharp knife. Now, if you have children that are doing this recipe, definitely be in the kitchen with them just for safety concerns. And whether you start on the back or the front, you're just going to take it on its side and you're going to cut it down. Now, my knife skills are not the best, so I'm doing the best that I can here, but you're just going to gently cut down and try to get them as thin as possible. And the reason why is this particular recipe, we're going to be utilizing our air fryer. And so how the air fryer works really quickly is you have the setting temperatures that will come on here, as well as the time. And then you would open it up. You would open up the container, and this is where you would put your ingredients and close it up. If you're not familiar with utilizing an air fryer, and in another tutorial we can walk through those steps if you are brand new to using an air fryer. But for now, we're just going to utilize this in a second. So you're going to cut up your apple really quickly, and I'm just going to add these pieces to the one already on my plate. And the good thing about apple nachos is you don't have to do much because you've already pre-rinsed. There's no additional seasonings that go on before. You literally just plop them on in there. If you want to make smaller slices, you can, and I can just show you. So I'll make half of these smaller, and then, of course, leave the other so that you can see the difference here. And what we're gonna do when we get to the air fryer is we're going to set it for approximately 7 to 8 minutes. Now, depending on how big, how tough, excuse me, you want your apple chips to be, you can leave them in there for 10 minutes. I just wouldn't suggest leaving them in there longer than 10 minutes because you may have crispy apple nachos. So we're gonna go ahead and take out our tray, and inside of the tray, and this is already preheated. Now, there are some air fryers that don't need to be preheated. I preheat mine just to make sure it's all warm and toasty, and that the 7 to 8 minutes is all that I need. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your pan and you're going to gently, lightly spray. You're gonna take your pan and you're gonna gently, lightly spray. Make sure it's good and coated, but not too much, just enough that way if they move around in there, you shake it when you flip it over, and you'll take your apple pieces. And I don't want to put this on the surface only because I preheated it. Now, if you have not preheated yours, then I would say, okay, put it on the surface, but who really wants to mess up their countertops? So we're just going to just take all the pieces here, and I'm going to tilt this down just a little bit for you to see. They're going to move around. So it's kind of hard not to kind of put them on top of each other, but you just want to make sure that they're at least all laying flat. And if you have a piece of apple left over, that's fine. You can munch on it, which is probably what I'm going to do while you're waiting for the first portion of crisping. So I think that is going to be as much as we can fit in here. You'll transfer it to the air fryer base. Make sure that it is completely in the inside. All right, and we're going to do this on, I'm going to put 380, and we're going to do 7 minutes. Mine starts at 15 minutes. Yours may have a different timer, but you just want to make sure that both the temperature and the time is set, because you don't want to automatically over crisp it. Now mine will start, we're just going to leave it to the side, and then we're going to go ahead and start preparing our second apple nachos. All right, you guys, so we have let it sit for about 7 to 8 minutes. It should be beeping in a second. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our tongues and we're gonna flip them over. And I would highly recommend to use something other than your fingers, because this pull-out tray is gonna be extremely hot, especially if you're dealing with cooking these while your children are in the kitchen with you as well. These would be the best way to go. So give it a few seconds. Usually it beeps. All right, I think this is good enough. So we're gonna remove it. I'm gonna let you see what it looks like. So this is just the first, we haven't even flipped it yet. So you have certain pieces in here that are, let me kind of grab, that are extremely dark crisp already. Look at that. And you can kind of see how it is already shriveled up. And so what we're gonna do, you don't have to add any more spray. You just simply flip them over. If they want to cooperate. Making sure you're not hitting the countertop nor your plate here. And you just want to make sure all the little pieces are flipped over as well. And as you can see, it didn't give us that many, but of course, it's just enough for one serving, right? Maybe. So I'm gonna grab this one and then, all right. And so we're just gonna put it back in there for another 7 or 8 minutes, and then we'll be ready to top. And this is perfect. So my screen has not popped on, and so you may wonder if yours is doing the same thing, and that just basically means that the container is not open. It's more of a safety measure. So I am phenomenal for doing this and walking off and coming back 10 minutes later trying to figure out why it didn't cook. So make sure it's completely pushed in until it beeps. Mine, you have to reset it, so I'm gonna go back to 380 degrees and bring it back down to about, I'm gonna give it 7 minutes, and then there you go. All right, and so while we're waiting on this to do its thing for part 2, we're going to be making banana split apple nachos. Now, you're probably like, okay, are we gonna put this in the air fryer as well? And the answer is no. So for those of you who do not have an air fryer, I would highly recommend this recipe because all you're doing literally is putting everything together using your toppings as well as the base of both the bananas and your red crisp apples. What I have found is if you use the crisp apples, gala apples, or honey crisp apples, you'll get that really flavored, savory, sweet taste to it, and it just comes out extremely yummy. All right, so what we're going to do is we're gonna have the apples themselves, and I have pre-sliced a few, but different from our actual apple chips in here, the nachos, we're gonna cut these down into smaller sizes because these you're actually gonna be finger food. So you're gonna take your knife, and you can get about 4 or 5 strips, and you want them to be thin. And then of course, your chopping skills are probably way better than mine. All right, and you just want to continue to do that. Now, depending on how many people are in your tribe or how hungry you are, you may utilize all the apples, but just for the sake of this demonstration, we're just going to utilize these. And you see, once you get comfortable with your knife, how quickly it goes, and you just kind of scoot it to the side. And I don't know about you, but with COVID, I have caught the cooking bug. And so I have been in my kitchen learning so many new recipes. I actually figured out how to make vegan bread last weekend, so I was so excited. Can't wait to share that one with you. We have a tutorial coming up that is actually going to be banana bread, vegan banana bread. So if you are allergy or plant-based, or you're looking for something different than the traditional banana bread, stay tuned for that. That's coming up as well on our YouTube channel. All right, I'm not a fan of seeds, so I just go ahead and quickly grab these and discard them to the side. I'd rather do it piece by piece than to wait, because then I'll get to talking and then I don't remember. And so you're gonna go through here, and I think I have one little guy left. Yep, okay. All right, so just kind of scoot it to the side here. And what we're gonna do with the bananas, once we get to that part, is toss it up. Because there's no extra preparation as far as putting it inside of the oven, you get creative control. All right, so you just kind of toss them around, and then that's your base. Now we're gonna take our banana, we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna utilize these ones that are already cut up. And depending on which ones you can use, I've tried this recipe with regular bananas. I'm a plantain person, but I like when my plantains are a little bit softer, and the ones that I have don't, they're just not there yet. So I'm just utilizing regular store-bought bananas at this point. But you just give it a good toss over here. This would be technically your nacho chips, your tortilla chips. And then what we're gonna dig into is this cinnamon here. And so I already have some, and you just take your hand, and this is when it gets really messy and really fun, and you just drizzle it on just like that. Look how pretty. So when everybody sees it, you can tell them that your next career is going to be a chef and that you're charging for your services moving forward. All right, and then you have your granola oat here. Now, if you are a person that cannot utilize granola, then you have creative control. We have so many different options here. But if you're able to and you have some on hand, go ahead and grab a good handful of that as well. And you're gonna just sprinkle it on. It's gonna give you that bulk that you're looking for, or you can kind of turn this into a cereal, which we have a recipe coming up for that as well. So stay tuned. All right, and it has the chocolate chips, so your kids will be all excited. And just a little bit more here. All right, we have cranberries, so I'm just going to sprinkle those here as well. All right, and then now we have our yogurt, blueberry or strawberry. Now, you could either use both. You could use one, you can use none. It's all up to you. What I would highly recommend is that if you do decide to utilize this, to make sure that you put it in the microwave first. And I'm just checking the temperature checking the time, we have 2 minutes left. So we just want to make sure that if you want to utilize them, you can put them in the oven, or you could put them in the microwave per se. But for the purpose of this, we're going to use the blueberries, and we're just going to kind of top them here because they're store-bought. Or you can actually use, which is the next really good one, yogurt. And you just drizzle it on the top. All right. Then we have our cashews. So we're going to put those in there as well. And of course, free reign. All right. And then we're going to have our caramel and our chocolate frosting, which we're going to have to put in the microwave. So I'll be right back, and we're going to drizzle those on the top. Stay tuned. All right, so I have now taken my ingredients out of the microwave here, and so what we're going to use is our spoon. Just going to give that a good mix here, and we're going to use a little bit of this drizzle here, and we're going to also use a little bit of the drizzle for our first apple nacho recipe. So you're just going to kind of let that, well, in this instance it's going to glop, but as long as it's on there, I'll take it. All right, look at that. Nice, nice. And so if you want, you can add, this could be your guacamole. So you can add a little bit of these chips that are drenched in honey as a little side piece here. And we're still working on plating 101. So the next tutorials, watch out now, I'm gonna be bad. But as of right now, we're gonna do the best that we can. And then I'll just get these ones that are not drenched just in case. You have picky eaters. And there you go. So this is our part 2. And quick, easy, really simple. And then you would just grab one like this. Good. It's really good. All right, let's check on our air fryer to see what that one looks like, and then we'll be done. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take these out. They should be done. Let's see what we got. Oh, success. All right, so they have that very golden, some of them are a little crisp on the side, which makes them even more tasty, which is why I tell you to either get the honey crisp or the gala apples, because they're already sweet. That way, if you overcook them or they get a little bit dark brown on the sides, the flavor that you're gonna get, it's so good. All right, so let me get a plate here. And so what we're going to do is grab our tongs. I'm gonna go ahead and plate these. And of course, the time frame is different, the temperatures are different, so you can just play with them to your particular preference. Me personally, I like the 380 and the 7 to 8 minutes because it just gives me that very sweet, crisp taste. All right, so we're gonna take this and put this back in here so that I can clean it later. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our cinnamon, what's left of it, and we're gonna just kind of sprinkle that over the top here. All right, good to go. And then we'll do the same thing as we did with our second nachos. You'll use any of the toppings here. For example, you could use either the chocolate, and we heated it up earlier, so you just kind of give it a good stir here. Make sure it's just all in there. And we're gonna see if that's gonna gloop out too. And you can just kind of pour it on for your preference. I would recommend this recipe for an after dinner snack because of the high sugar content. You can pair it with the granola as well, because this granola has a little bit of pistachio in it. Has a little bit of pistachio in it, so that just gives it, and it also has cashews. So you don't have to put too much, it just depends on how many apple slices you cut up. And then it too has chocolate. And you can put a little bit of the cashews as well. Again, to kind of balance out that sweetness. And then also if you're looking for a sugary salt alternative to what you're trying to kill the craving for, this would probably be the best for you. So I'm gonna stop right here because I don't see anything else I want to kind of add this to, and you can pair it with a glass of orange juice, which is probably what I'm gonna do. And you'll be good to go. So let's try and see what this looks like. This is really good. All right. So leave your comments. Any questions that you have, go ahead and reach out to us. Thank you so much. I'm still chewing. Thank you so much for staying in tune with us. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial on apple nachos, whether you chose to do the air fryer route or our little put together DIY. And be on the lookout. We will have more recipes and more tutorials coming to you. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. And if you are not a member, if you happen to just pop on this video from YouTube, go ahead and reach us, Junior League of Atlanta, and see how you can become a member and join us. So until next time, bye.